Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. Well, do you like action cameras that you can attach to your RC plane, your RC car, your FPV drone, I don't know, your shirt, your hat, anything you want, your surfboard, all these things? Well, most of us use like a GoPro, like this is a big Hero 8. These things weigh an awful lot, so we're kind of limited to where you can place them. So Insta360 came out, a while ago, last year, and they made the Insta360 GO. Let me bring it close and show you. So this camera consisted of a charging base, and the actual camera is on top right here. It's very tiny. You can attach it to almost anything you want, and I have. So a lot of my reviews of drones, this is the camera I use. But they made it better. They came out with this, the Insta360 GO 2. Yes, this is it. This is the camera. This is the charging case, and inside, check that out. That's the camera right there. And what's that at the bottom? That's a remote control. And this tiny little camera only weighs 27 grams. It can accept filters, ND filters, right over the lens. They screw on, and it records for an awfully long time. Something the other one did not. So the things I really love about this camera are, it's only 2 inches in length, this tiny little 2-inch camera right here. I love that this here base, this is the charging unit. So you charge this up, and this then charges your camera when you're on the go. Or you can leave your camera in it and just have it continuously receiving power. It's really cool. Also, if you yank out the camera, this, it's telling me it's vibrating down there. Yank out the camera, you have all your controls right here to run it from a distance because, it's a remote control. And not only that, when I put the camera back in, it's magnetic, and watch this. The back of the charging base turns into a stand. So I go like this, and if I put the stand down, I'll try to get it in the image here so you can see it like that. You could see it's a vlogging unit. So now if I'm in front, it's standing up, it's showing me all the details on the tiny little screen in front, and you could vlog with it and do all sorts of things. Other things I like about this, it has stabilized video. So you can be just like your GoPro, banging it all over the place, and your footage will look really stabilized. For controlling this camera, you can use the device here, which controls it by Bluetooth, or you can control it by Wi-Fi with your cell phone. You do not put a micro SD card in the camera itself. It has 32 gigs of memory on board, which is plenty for what you want to do. It comes with all the most popular shooting modes you could think of, like HDR, slow motion, hyperlapse, time lapse, star lapse, all sorts of things. It's really, really good. And did I mention the slow motion's at 120 frames a second, which is really good. For photos, if you want to use this as a camera when you're on vacation, the photos can be taken in RAW, or you can take them in JPEG and RAW, which means you can manipulate the photo later in your editing software. Now, to charge up the little camera itself, when you plug it into a USB to charge it up, it takes about 35 minutes to charge it up. But the cool thing is, it takes about 30 minutes to uncharge it. In other words, you charge it up for 35 minutes and then you've got 30 minutes of usage, which is really good. But if you leave the camera in the charge base, you can get 150 minutes of usage out of this thing, which means if you're on vacation or traveling, you're not going to be charging this up too often. Now, the previous GO 1 had a problem with not shooting very long clips. This can go as long as, I think it goes on average about 15 minutes, and that's how long a clip will be. Then it will shut off and then you can do another clip. If you're doing time lapse, it can go until the battery runs dry, which is really good. You can make like a 7-minute video by taking a time lapse every so many seconds. And then when it puts that time lapse together, you have like a 7-minute video. And then finally, the great thing with this is that it has an app that is on your iOS phone or your Google Play Store Android phone. You can take pictures, everything. You can download them to your phone, manipulate them any way you want, share them as you wish. The other cool thing is if you want your video to be even more professional, you then have free software that you have for your Windows 10 and your Mac. And it's called Insta360 Studio, and if you put the pictures or the video into that studio, you can manipulate them even further. So now you're saying, Steve, that's really good information, but honestly, Steve, how good are the video and photos from this tiny, tiny little camera? Like, honestly, Steve, how good are they? Well, I'm going to tell you right now, the video and the photos are above average for something this size and this weight. There's nothing like it on the market, so this is all you have. If you thought that the Insta360 GO was pretty good, well, then you're going to love this because, I don't know, they took it to another level. Like, I don't mean like doubled or tripled it, but it's a totally different camera. It's really good. So I'm going to stop talking and start showing you all the cool footage of video and photos I took from this. First, I want to show you the item that impressed me. I won't say the most, but it certainly impressed me. Normally when you buy a camera, so I don't know, the professional camera recording me right now has a huge sensor in it and a big lens. It's designed that if I go and film at night, it takes really good video and photos. Little cameras like this all fail when it comes to night. They have grain in the photo, everything looks terrible. They have grain in the video, it's like little bugs running around the video. This is pretty impressive. Check out my nighttime photos and video. Like I'm talking, the only light coming from this is a tiny little house light. There's nothing else. It's pitch black outside pretty much. And check out how good it is. Check this out. Ah yes, it's winter here still and I have to clear my driveway, but this is a night shot. Look at how good it is with very little light. And this is even more important. The headlight on the snowblower is facing the camera, yet the image is not affected by the brightness of the headlight. Normally some cameras would just turn the whole image dark because the light is suddenly bright, but this here worked out quite well. In addition, some cameras, when filming at night, the shutter moves so slow that you get ghosting. The image doesn't look natural, but here everything looks natural. This is a photo I took. I just held the camera in my hand, snapped a photo. So this is at night, holding it handheld, really good. The next thing I want to show you some cool video segments of me placing this tiny little camera on everyday items. So I put it on my Jeep, drove around on a bumpy road with the Jeep to see how good the stabilization is. I was super impressed. It looks like I'm just flowing. Then I think I put it on an RC car and drove it up and down my street over all sorts of bumps. Did quite well. Stuck it on an FPV drone, had to do that. On the windiest of days, the coldest of days, you'll see the snow blowing and bounced around with it. It's pretty cool. What else did I stick it on? Oh, I stuck it on me walking and running in the woods, and it's not too bad. And then I stuck it on a Tello. This little thing, I stuck it on a DJI Tello, or the Rise Tello, and flew it around my area here, which is pretty cool. Anyways, check out the video segments. Yep, it's still winter, so here I am removing snow off my windshield so I can put the Go-To mount, which comes in the box, and I'm controlling the camera right here with my remote control. Now, I want you to watch this image carefully. I'm going over potholes. The Jeep is bouncing all over the place, but look at how stable the image is. It's really, really good. Now my Jeep is a 4x4, so I can go off-road where it hasn't been cleared, so right now I'm just driving off-road. And straight ahead is a van, somebody who tried to drive off-road and they are stuck and they have a shovel to dig themselves out. Eventually they got the van out. Here I've placed the Go-To on my hat. There is an included hat attachment that comes with the Go-To, and you can adjust the camera up and down as I'm showing here. Alright, from my remote control I can see I have it set on the Pro video mode, and this is what you should be seeing. So I'm walking, I'm bouncing up and down and looking around here in the woods on this trail, sliding down this hill. Try not to fall down. And there we go. Here I have the Go-To attached vertically to my Recon 5 drone, and I came out on the coldest, windiest day ever. The wind is just howling, but I'm gonna fly this baby to get some footage. Man, am I cold. Here we go. Now the Recon 5 drone is extremely fast, so look at the video. I'm just whizzing all over the place, but with that wind, oh my god, it was affecting the camera a little bit. I will mention later in this video that I would prefer if a mount was horizontal, vice vertical, but overall it does well in FPV. Next, I mounted it to my Traxxas Rustler VXL. This car can go like 60 miles per hour, and here I am whipping it behind another vehicle driving down my road. You can see it's bouncing around, hitting a lot of bumps, but the image looks quite stable. It's well suited for RC cars, but if the car crashed, well, then the camera's going to take a tumble. Finally, I attached it to the Tello. Look at how ridiculous that looks, but the image quality is good. Then I thought, hey, why not attach it to the bottom of the Tello and have that downward looking image so you could fly it up and above? What would it look like? Well, this is what it looks like. It's actually pretty cool. I think I had that setting on wide angle, ultra wide, so everything looks long and skinny. And of course, I crashed the drone. Here we go. Alright, for this next segment, I'm going to show you the star of the show, which is the charge case remote. I think that's the star of this Go-To. You have so many cool options just by using this remote. And like I said, you don't have to have the camera in it. The camera can be elsewhere. As long as it's within range, then you can use all the functions and it will work fine. And I've done that in a lot of the videos you've seen previously. and even some of the videos you're about to see as I show you this. So here we go. All right, the first thing you're going to see when you open the case, it says click to start. So you click this button here and it will connect, and you'll see the little blue light goes on, then it turns white, and now this camera is connected by Bluetooth to this here unit base station. First mode we're in here is video mode. It shows you all your settings. So I was recording at 1440p, 30 frames per second, 16:9 in wide mode. You can change all those settings. I'll show you how to do it right in this little remote control. But let me just go on and show you a few more things. First, let me just show you some video footage used in this mode. Watch this. This is standard video. All right, to change out of that mode, you just click that button twice, twice, and I'm in the next mode, which is photo. So this is for taking photos in RAW or JPEG, whatever you wish, whatever you've set up. Here it shows I was taking in, right there, it shows you I had it set up for pure photo. And let me show you some photo examples. Check this out. All right, I'm looking forward, and I'm gonna put this in camera mode and take a photo of that. Next mode, click it twice, twice, and we'll go into Pro mode. Pro video is the one you're probably going to use quite a bit. If you are more into playing with your camera and the settings and getting some really cool shots, you're going to use Pro video. Especially if you're doing FPV or anything where you're taking this tiny camera and you're sticking it on a device that's bouncing around in the air or on the ground, you'll probably want to use the Pro video mode. So let me just show you a few images from Pro video. Check this out. This is Pro video. Next, double click, what do we get? Time shift. Time shift is like hyperlapse, you know, hyperlapse that they have on a lot of other cameras. It's the same idea. All you do is you put it in time shift mode, you move forward, try to keep the camera pointing in the same direction, and as you move forward, it creates a video by taking a shot every now and then it smooths the video together, and it looks like you're just going shoof, smoothly going through the whatever you're doing, walking, running, driving, anything like that. Here, let me show you an example of time shift right here. Okay, let's click on it twice. Next one. Time lapse. Time lapse is when you obviously want to set your camera down and take a photo every now and then. You can decide when you want to take the photo, every 1 second, half a second, 5 seconds, maybe 1 minute, whatever. Whatever the settings are in here, just set it to that. It will take a photo and then it puts all the photos together to make a video. Let me show you a time lapse. Check this out. What else do we have? Double click and we go into HDR video. HDR video is, I find it works probably better in the summertime. So HDR is like if you have dark scenes like shadows and then you have scenes that are overexposed in some sort of video. So on sunny days in the summertime, the sun will be really bright on white objects, but then right beside it, a tree is casting a shadow and it's black. So your camera, when it looks at it, doesn't have a clue. Do I expose for the black or do I expose for the bright white? So when you put a camera in HDR, what it does is it takes both the bright white and the blacks, sticks them together, tries to smooth it out, and you get a much more pleasing photo. Let me show an example of what HDR is. Check this out. Next one, double click, what do we get? Slow motion. Slow motion, you're gonna use this a lot. So slow motion, just set the camera up, put the amount of frames per second you want. The higher the number of frames, the slower the motion, obviously. So yeah, here's slow motion, check it out. Let's see, do we have any left? I can't remember. Oh, we're into settings menu. So settings is where you can make changes to all of those items I just spoke of. So to make changes, use the record button over here, this red button. Let's see if I can get my finger in there without messing things up. So if I press that, we go into settings, press it again, and we'll get into more detailed settings. So the top one where you see that's video, if you want to change the settings for video, they're all below. If you want to go into a different one, just press it again. Now I'm in photo, I can change all the settings and so forth and so on. You just pick the one you want to change settings on, and that's all you do. And to change settings, well, you just go down. So if I go down to 16:9, I would change it to something else. Next thing I want to show you is the audio quality. Now I've used this in my car, I've used it walking around. I will tell you this, audio outside, if there's wind, even if you have the wind noise reduction on, it picks up the noise. So unless you have the mic close enough to you, then it's okay. But if it's far away and it's getting wind from the side, it will pick up the wind noise. If it's not windy out, it's perfectly fine. Let me show you what the audio sounds like. So I have it in just basic video mode. I'm going to hit the red button to hit record, and it's going to go into record mode, and it's going to start recording me. And what I'm going to do is just switch over to this camera and to the audio. So the audio you hear now is coming out of this Insta360 GO. The video see is looking at me here, and I can move it around. I can lift the camera up, looking upwards, and then down more at me, get my head far away. It's pretty wide angle, and I can come in close. Now I've switched the camera over to Pro mode because I want to show you that you do not have to accept the image it gives you. In other words, if it's too wide for you, you go, well, that's too wide, I want it to crop in. You can do that. And you do that when you're just basically looking at the video on your phone or on your computer. So right now, it's in linear plus. This is linear plus mode. It seems to default to that. But say I want to go to linear mode and bring it in a little bit, closer. I can do that. All right, so I've got the box right here, and you're probably wondering what comes in the box. So let me show you super quick what comes in the box. Check this out. This will be a quick unboxing, so here we go. This is a box. Open the box and you're presented with the go-to camera. Remove the camera and you're presented with plenty of instructions to get up and running super quick, very easy instructions. Let's not forget there are Insta360 stickers included. Open the box further and you're presented with all of these items. First, let's pull out the Insta360 charging case, which also doubles as the remote. It certainly is a pretty sweet piece of technology. Next, we have the super amazing, super tiny 360 GO camera. It magnetically snaps right into the charging case. This accessory is included with the Insta360 GO 2. You put the camera in it and you can attach this device to your hat, as I did when I was walking around. This is another accessory that's included in the box. This is what I use to attach to the windshield of my car. The bottom is sticky. It also doubles as a handheld unit. Put the camera in it and hold it in your hand. This accessory is also included in the box. It is designed that you would stick it under your shirt and then put the GO 2 on top of it because it is magnetic and the two will attach together nicely. The last accessory included in the box would be the USB-C cable. Use this to charge up the unit as well as transfer images, pictures, photos, whatever to your computer. Insta360 also sent me these two accessories, which I use for the RC car and the FPV drones. Now I mentioned you can put filters on the GO 2, and Freewell does make standard day 4-pack filters, so you get an ND8, 16, 32, and 64. And I have used them. In this video, sometimes there was filters on the camera, and they're really good because they're the screw-on type. They don't slip over top. So say I put this on a drone and I smash the glass in the front. Well, usually your camera's toast. But no, that is just a screw-on UV lens clear glass that they have right with the camera. You can unscrew it and put a filter on or replace it with another clear lens. So if you're flying around with FPV, you'll want to put a filter on it just to protect it. Also, if you put an ND filter like an ND16, when I fly FPV, I like an ND16 on my cameras, or any type of fast motion outside in the sun. ND16 slows down the shutter, makes the stability and the stabilization even better. So if you get this camera, you're going to really want to invest probably in some filters. All right, now we're at the end of the video and I'm going to give you my final thoughts on this camera. Well, first off, I'm going to tell you it's definitely a buy. It's a buy. There's nothing else on the market like it, so it's a buy. I only have one complaint, and the only complaint I have that Insta360 will have to fix is if you put HDR video on and then you have a lot of motion in the image, you're going to get artifacts because because the processor inside, or whatever software is happening to manipulate it, for some reason, it can't do the stability of HDR and the HDR at the same time. It has difficulty with it, at least in the video. So as I'm talking right now, you see what I mean? You see these artifacts as I'm walking around? Seems like the ground is doing some weird stuff. And if I turn the stability off, well, then it's perfectly fine. But you want the stability on for most things. So with the HDR, if you put it in HDR mode for video, just make sure you don't have a lot of up and down motion or side to side motion, much more smoother motion, and then it will look okay. That can be easily fixed with an Insta360 firmware update, and they've updated the original Go so many times that it's so amazing that that will definitely be fixed in future videos. The next one is nothing against Insta360. It's just that I love to fly FPV drones, and all the mounts, there goes the box, and all the mounts for the camera are all vertical, up and down like this. It's the only ones I have because it's a different size than the original Go one. So when I flew around with my Recon 5 here, and I think I even used the ProTech 25 in the videos of FPV, I had a mount like this. It was standing up. These mounts in wind, and you saw the video, there was a lot of snow blowing and wind, they become a tuning fork. What does that mean? That means that the wind hits this vertical, because the drones fly so friggin' fast, that they vibrate slightly. They make this little vibration. And when the software inside this tries to smooth out that vibration, you get jello. You put an ND16 filter on it and it helps an awful lot, but there's still issues. If I turn too fast, I'm going to get a little bit of jello. That's easily fixable by soon having horizontal mounts on the market. And these took about, maybe a week to come out after the camera came out. So I assume in maybe a week from now or 2 weeks from now, we're going to have the horizontal mounts. That fixes the problem. You don't get that tuning fork issue anymore. Other than that, I've had this for a while. I haven't noticed any other problems. It records really well. Now, if I haven't mentioned it already, this does not record in 4K. I know somebody's going to ask that, but you export the video footage or the photos in 4K if you like. You select the bit rate. So you can select the bit rate to be 200 megabits per second if you want. I don't know if you want to go crazy. And you can select the size of the video. So all the videos you saw in this here review were all in 4K because every video I took in here or photo, I just exported them at a higher size. And it works out really well. I'm going to put a link below to this camera. You really got to get it. I don't know the price on this. They told me they would probably sell it for, I don't know, $299, but I don't know if that's the end price. $250? Was it $300? I have no idea. I don't even know what comes in the box that I threw on the ground here accidentally. I don't know if everything that I received in my box is what you're going to receive, or are there other packages? Because Insta360, they put this out a while ago, but it wasn't the final version, I don't believe. So check the links below, see what the cost is, and see what you get. All right, guys, that's the end of my video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. I'd appreciate that very much. If you have questions on this camera, like I said, I've been using it for a long time, so I should be able to answer every one of your questions with no problem. Just post them below and I'll get back to you. And there's many more review videos coming up in the future, and there are some new products coming out on the market that I have here that I've been using, but I'm not allowed to talk about them until they're actually launched. So stay tuned for those. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Catch you in the next video. Bye.